What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I forgot how to click buttons on this thing, so we are doing great. It took me about 3 seconds sitting there being like, how do I make the thing that says we're coming live soon go away so that I can actually start the thing? We got there. A little bit of panic clicking. I'm Corey Inscoe. I'm here with David Gusler. You didn't put a last name on your little bug at the bottom. That's fine. David Gusler, how you doing, man?
Good. Well, so it's been so long since we've done this that I forgot like what name can I put on? Does it actually is it visible? Is it not visible?
I don't know. Not be visible. I don't know.
Who knows? I just it's been. I was gonna do this whole joke behind the scenes, y'all. I was gonna just like freeze here for a minute and not say anything, but then my wonderful internet is already giving some issues in my new house. So I was like, oh, I don't want to joke around about that because it's probably going to happen. So if I freeze, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, everybody, as usual, stay patient with us. We usually require a lot of patience, but especially now, as you guys know, we have been away for a little bit. We have not recorded a show. We've often, at least in the Discord, said like, hey, we're going to record, and then we end up not for many reasons. So we're gonna have to knock the rust off a little bit today. So bear with us as we're doing that. Especially doing a live show. Like we're just like, screw it. Let's just dive in the deep end and like do it live. So we can't even hide the mistakes that we make when I edit it later. So we're just getting right into it. Yeah.
I'm in a new house. Who knows how good the internet is? We'll figure this out.
David. Fine. So before we get into the soccer talk, how you've had a lot of changes in your life recently. How are things going for you?
Good. I had good changes. I'm still married to my wife. I still have my 2 dogs. It's nothing like that. So
good changes.
but officially back in North Carolina now. So
welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I'm in a very echoey office because I haven't put anything out. We literally closed on the house today. So I'm literally in a house and has nothing in it right now. So there's my moving boxes for those who are watching live. So it's been good, man. But it feels good to be back in North Carolina and it feels good to be able to do the show again. It's been too long. I don't think I've done a show since we've changed the theme song again. And I was like, man, but here we are.
And I also realized that I didn't have the theme song loaded up for the live show. So I was like, we're just doing this like quiet open.
It's fine.
So
everything's fine.
This is.
I see folks have already got the corn dogs out there too. I saw the chat.
Yeah, we got corn dogs. Joe's reaction as we were trying to start is the correct one, which is the long. So yeah, exactly. Figuring it out, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Figuring it out. But no, all's good. We're happy to be back. Matt Swift. Here we go. Perfect timing. Matt Swift is not going to be able to join us. He's feeling a little under the weather. Unfortunately, that thing is super going around and knocking on wood that it hasn't quite hit us yet, though I feel like it's coming. But it's not because he is wearing the new kit, as far as I know. I wouldn't put it past him.
I don't know. That might make him feel better, taking a nice little nappy new and a brand new kit and just walking around Winnie the Pooh in it with it. It's good.
Yeah. No, I love that. That sounds great. But yeah, we have a handful of things we want to talk about. We have a ton of listener questions that have popped up in the Discord since we last recorded. Because again, it's been a while. So we'll just kind of chat. And again, please chime in, throw things into the chat. We'd love to know what you want to talk about. Soccer, serious related or not. Feel free to let us know what's on your mind and throw some things in there, and we'll bring up whatever we can along with the questions we were asked before. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's see, where do we want to start here? We talked about a few things, and there's been a lot of transfer news, both rumored and real, going on, and so I'm not sure what it means that I look like I'm on Vine in a Nokia phone, but I'll take it. I'm not sure what's going on. But do we want to start with the actual transfer that we know is real, or do we want to start with the ones that have been rumored? Like, I think there's kind of 2 ways to go here. Where's your gut?
Let's do the official one first, since that's actually official. And for people who are tuning in for the first time, we like to act like we're a real podcast, so we can talk about some things first. Sometimes, so we'll save the wacky stuff towards the end. So let's talk about the real transfer news first.
Cool. So the real transfer news is we have signed Luca de la Torre, a midfielder who plays for the U.S. men's national team. He spent last year in San Diego on loan. He was with Celta de Vigo before that, but we brought him in to the midfield with a contract through June of 2029 with the club option for the following season as well. We can go through all the stats and stuff like that, and I'll go through that in just a second. But just kind of immediate reaction when you heard that one. What was your thought on bringing him on board?
Well, let's hope it works out better than Eric Williamson did. That's my first. No, I'm just not
setting the bar.
The band off. Just setting,
setting
no, I'm
the
just
bar.
joking. So, no, I think initial gut feeling is that I think it's a good move. I think it's going to be starter material for us. Worst case scenario, it'll give us depth, right? And I think that's what we desperately needed in the midfield as we headed into the back half of the season last year. Was we had some injuries, had some pieces that were kind of forced to start that maybe should not have been starting every single game. So I think he's going to bring something there for us. I mean, when the move was announced, I was perusing Reddit, looking at some of the San Diego fans and MLS fans, and a lot of them were saying it's a good move. I'm going to temper my expectations after getting burned last year by getting hyped up by player that we signed in the midfield. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. A lot of San Diego fans were, I don't want to say like they were disappointed that he left, but they understood. They also were saying that he was good. It's just that they just had star players starting, and that's what pushed him out of his starting position in San Diego. Like he still played 30 plus games. I think he scored 5 goals or 2 goals and 5 assists, something like that. So I got
5
that
goals, 2 assists. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was still productive within that space, and obviously he's played for the U.S. men's national team, has made some appearances, and it's also I don't want to say it's motivation, but it's also the year that you want to make sure you put your best foot forward if you're trying to make the national team, because it's going to help build that time and that minutes and show off what you can do, hopefully before World Cup. So I'm excited for the move. I'm going to temper expectations for myself just so I don't get burned, though. How about you, Corey?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel the same way. I'll just kind of go through some of the stats of what he brings, because you mentioned that as well too. But obviously, San Diego had a huge inaugural season. He played 37 matches, 5 goals, 2 assists. He was part of the 2025 Gold Cup roster. And let's go down. Before he was at San Diego, he was in La Liga, like I said, with Celta de Vigo. Probably mispronouncing that, but I'm going to roll with it.
Better
he
than
had
me,
4
sir.
goals and 9 assists in 67 matches played. So he comes with some serious credentials and experience on this team in the midfield. And I think when we've talked about this team and some of the places where it's lacking, or I guess I'll put it this way. I feel like in matches where we get frustrated with the team's lack of ability to get on the attack and score and things like that, it always feels like it's that disjointed midfield, right? Like that's where it always feels like there's an issue. It's like we struggle to get the ball from the defenders up to the attack, and it's not smooth, or it's too slow, or people aren't moving, or we know we've always had that issue. More some seasons than others, but it's always been that thing. Like when we have a bad match, that's usually what you can look at and see. And so I think, or I hope, I guess, because like we've gotten excited about signings before and it has not worked out. Even though I don't think I would compare De La Torre to Williams.
I don't.
Like that. I think it's a different level of signing. But to your point, I do think before I get my hopes up, like that's my hope, is that what he would do and bring to the team is that ability to take the ball through the midfield and get it into the attack, whether that's through passing, whether it's through having the ball at his feet, whatever that might be. I think that's where we've really been missing someone who can play that role in the midfield. And it feels like a real upgrade to that midfield unit. I mean, obviously, it's going to mean that some people are fighting for starting minutes that we're starting this year. I don't know if it'll finally be the player that puts Bronico on the bench. We'll see, or what that looks like. But I do think that it's an absolute upgrade, and it's a piece of the puzzle looking at last season and coming into this season, it was one of the pieces of the puzzles that I'm really happy that we've addressed so far in this window.
Yeah, I think if it was me, because of if you're looking at the roster current state, you still have Pep Biel now here. That's long term. I think where if you were going to slot him in anywhere, it's going to be at that 8 position, which I think, I know we were pretty vocal during the playoffs and back half of the season. We needed more creativity in the 8 versus having that double pivot or an 8 that was more defensive minded. So I think on paper he should be able to do that. I think Brant will still be able to either play or plug in as a Pep backup, start as an 8, or back up the 8, depending on who we're playing, whatever it could be. But like you said, every single year someone's brought in so far to supplant Bronico, and yet he starts every single year still. So, I'm not going to count him out at all, because I think it just keeps to continue to push him. And, not to brag on him a little bit, but he also was voted the most fit player by the MLS Players Association. So he's doing something right. So.
Teach me your ways. No, and like
your ways, Bronico.
And to be clear, like I love Bronico, and but I would. I don't know how to say this the right way. I do hope that Bronico becomes a player we bring off the bench, and I only mean that because I think that is a place where we can continue to improve. And it's not because I don't like Bronico. It's not because I don't want Bronico to play, but I think like having him as a depth and rotation piece means that we've gotten the midfield a level up from where it is right now.
Well, I think
that's huge.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Corey. I just mean just think through the playoffs too. Like, imagine being able to bring a Brant off on the bench as an 8,
right?
Versus relying on him as the starter, and then relying on who we had starting at the 8. You know what I mean? So it was I don't know. I think it's a win-win overall. I don't think it's gonna be a bad move at all. So I'm excited for it. And then he's here for an extended period of time, so it's not like a 1-year rental like it was previously with other midfielders that we have. Now that midfield continues to get crowded because we still have some youth designated players or U22 designated players there in the midfield that has nothing happened to them yet, but we'll see. We still got another month and a half. We'll see.
Yeah, but I think there are a lot of players there. I do think realistically you're looking at you've got some options between how you want to play with Biel, with De La Torre, with Bronico, Westwood, and then Gianni in there as well too. Like you've got some flexibility about how you want to play it. So I think it's a good move. Obviously, there's some other pieces that we need to address before this window's up. Chiefly a defender.
Yeah, very much so.
But I think as far as what we've done so far, I like that move, and I'm excited to see kind of what he does on the team. Bryant is very excited for some 5-0 wins this year. We got to get that center back. Yeah, I love that. Let's get that center back in there to lead to those 5-0 wins. But I like where your head's at with that one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Savannah also put in there Happy New Year, everyone. So shout out there for that perspective. But no, it's funny you were talking about defensive players, but I guess we can segue to some of the rumors and also. Well, there was also before I jump ahead, I'm sorry. There was also another official move where we sold somebody. Might spark some feelings a little bit out there for it, but Drake Callender was sold as well as a transaction that happened since the last episode. So for those who may have missed that, goalkeeper that we actually traded for within interleague trading during the past window from Inter Miami was the starter there for a long time, lost his job this past season, had some injuries. We bought or traded for him within the league. Do you know how much it was? I'm trying to filibuster here for a second, Corey, if you want to pull up to see what that original transaction fee was. But we ended up selling him to Minnesota, I think for like $475,000, something like that. So on paper,
we got $450,000 in GAM for moving him over to Minnesota.
So while it seems like it's less, I think there's some escalators there, and I think there's some other back end stuff that helps move that back up towards what we paid for him on. But that was an official move. Any thoughts on that, Corey? What do you think that means to the goalkeeper room and Kalina as well for us in the future?
Well, on that piece, I think it does finally clear. I mean, that was kind of one of our big questions at the end of last season was like, that's a very full goalkeeper room with
Yeah,
three
yeah.
keepers who could start in the league. Not
Bingham,
like, a
Kalina,
lot of
Calendar.
depth.
Yep.
Like when you're looking at those three, like those are all MLS starters, and there's no reason to be carrying all of them on the roster at the same time. So you knew someone was going. We wondered if it was Kalina was going to be the odd man out, and so far that's not the case. But we're really curious what happened there. So I think it does make sense to move on from him. I am not the MLS salary expert that other people are, but the numbers do kind of raise an eyebrow of bringing him in for 750 and then moving him on for 450. But there might be more to that than I fully understand. Would love anybody to chime in on
I
that
think
piece of
if
it.
I think if you
Yeah.
spin around, you turn the lights off, twirl around 3 times in front of a mirror, and say "gam gam gam" 3 times, then Vaughn appears and explains the cap and the gam tam. Thank you, ma'am. Rules
Yeah.
out there for you. So
Yeah, there you go. I know the 750 was like spread over a couple years, so I don't know how that's part of it. Also the same thing we did with Minnesota. So yeah, and there are, like you said, there are some escalators. I'm looking it up now. There's some escalators that could receive up to 300,000 if metrics are met, and we get a percentage of any future sale or trade. So yeah, it could end up long term working out better for us. But
I mean, the way I would assume is that $300,000 is probably if he's a starter, he plays
right,
X amount of games, which on paper he is the now de facto starter for Minnesota, most likely.
yeah.
So, I mean, in theory, it kind of adds up there. Um, and then, yep, there we go. So, as I understand, we used.
Oh, Vaughn, hold on. We got to say Vaughn
Oh,
popped in and said you rang.
that is amazing.
we summoned him.
Yes. See, I told you, just spin around and say Vaughn 3 times. That's what happens.
Said
So,
game a few times. And
Vaughn, not to put you on the spot because I know it's a live show. If you want to type anything in the chat around GAM, we will highlight it and explain it. It's amazing. Thank you for highlighting that.
There's literally an episode from a while back about GAM that we brought in Vaughn to be like, explain this to us. And we clearly did not let it sink in enough. But no, I mean, again, I think we had to move on from somebody in that room.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes sense that it was Calendar. And as long as the deal makes business sense for Charlotte FC, I'm good with that. Good with that result happening there as well too.
For sure. So I think those are those are the 2 official moves right now. But then there's also been some rumors, some scuttlebutt, some what's the telephone game, the whisper in someone's ear and it goes down the thing and you
I just call it telephone. Do you call it something else?
Is it telephone? I don't know. Vine or something. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. Don't question what my logic is, sir. So there's been some scuttlebutt on some things. So let's talk about a few of those, Corey.
Yeah. So there's been a few kind of that popped up over the off season with various level of seriousness in the rumors. So I'll just kind of run through a couple of them. And I kind of want to talk about more the big picture of what this means or what it says. But you've got I'm going to butcher names. I apologize. This is just our brand now at this point. But Alaba from Real Madrid back at the end of the year. You got Antoine Griezmann from Atletico Madrid, who was being linked. I shouldn't even say linked. It was clearly like Charlotte said, we want him. And then the most recent one is Harvey Elliott, who is a Liverpool player, helped them win a championship recently. Super exciting young player on loan with I believe it's Aston Villa. Yep. So he was also another one that was linked with us there too. So I guess my thought that I kind of wanted to talk about with it is I guess I'll ask you a question, then we'll kind of lead into it. With all those players, like these are big name players, like these are big swings the team is taking. And again, it makes me think that like the rumors of them being linked with us in some kind of way is Charlotte FC basically putting the rumor out themselves, being like, hey, we want them.
Sure. Yeah.
We're going to let the whole world know we want them. What are your thoughts on us, kind of being in the conversation with some of these players, whether or not anybody thinks they're really going to come off?
Well,
I don't know. What does that say about the team, or what do you think that
I think it's
perception
a
is?
good thing. I think it's a couple things. I think it's a good thing, and it shows where the league is continuing to go and grow. If you ask people 5, 10 years ago if these players would be linked to MLS or
Right.
Charlotte FC or anybody out there that's not a Enter Miami. I saw we got a Vaughn update, which we'll
Yeah,
pull up here in a little
we'll
bit.
go back to
So,
that in a minute.
but yeah, I think it's a good state and a good place for the league. I think it also shows that Charlotte is at least trying to do some of these big moves and is not scared to also attempt to do them. Are they going to land them all the time? No, but I mean, I think we've seen it over the past few years too. Like Zoran goes after some players, and people get hyped up and hopeful, and get their heart set on a certain player, and then sometimes you get a Pep Biel that no one knows anything about, and he's a huge home run, right? Or last year, out of left field, Wilfred Zaha signs with us, right? And so it's, I think for me, it also signals we finished kind of where we expected to be at the end of the season last year. We all know that we underperformed in the middle part of the season due to some injuries and some players missing and things like that. But I think it also signals they know their window, and the type of players that we have on the roster right now are really, I think, good. And I think that they want to continue to swing for the fence. It's not like a quote unquote rebuild. It's not like the NFL where you just have these seesaw effect. I think it's a gradual replacement, but I think it just signals the team's going to continue to be aggressive. So I'm excited for it. Are we going to get anybody? Are we going to get like a Harvey Elliott? Maybe, maybe not. The Harvey Elliott one's really interesting because when I was reading online, it's like the reason why the even rumors out there is because he's been on loan and he's already played for two different Premier League teams in the same season. So there's rules where he can't play again for another team like that in Europe.
Yeah.
So now if he wants to play, because Aston Villa is not like willing to play him, Liverpool doesn't really have a spot for him, he has to go overseas to play. And so it's kind of like, what options do you have that keeps you game fit for the rest of the season? See MLS, Brazil, South America, Central America, things like that. So, it's that one's interesting to me just because of the logistics. I think it's smart by Zoran to at least put feelers out there to say, hey, this is a guy that may want minutes and he can't get him where he's at now. So what can we here you go, so.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think like the way I look at it a little bit is like, it's almost, I don't know if this is the right word to say for it, but it's like a little bit on the marketing and branding side. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I know no one when they think of MLS necessarily right now is thinking of Charlotte FC. We're a small mid-market team, like we're not LA, we're not Miami, we're not New York, we're not Chicago. Like we're not those markets. But I think it's us saying like, hey, if you need a place to come play, we're serious, and we are a legitimate option for you to take if you want to do that. And so, like you said, with my brain just stopped working with Harvey Elliott, and and him needing to go somewhere that's probably not in Europe. It's like, hey, we're a legitimate option. Will it actually happen? I don't know, but I appreciate the team kind of taking a swing and saying like, hey, we are looking at ourselves as a legitimate place that these players could come play. Like Griezmann's another one. Like he clearly said he wanted to come play in the US. There's been reports of that. So like he wants to come play here, and Charlotte's like, hey, come play with us. And like you said, there are other players on the team that are currently on the team or have been on the team that you can point to and say like, these are players who have played at the top level. This we've got Zaha, we've got the Ashley Westwoods of the world, we've got people who've played in the Premier League and can come here and are enjoying their time here and get a chance to play in this league. And so I think it's showing that we're serious, that we are not going to just sit back and let just take ourselves out of the contention for those kinds of players. Now, will it often work? No. I'm fully expecting most of the time we're going to throw our name out there and it's not going to work. But I think it could have an impact on that next tier of player where they see that our name is popping up with these other star players, and it's like, well, they're serious. They're trying to build something there. Maybe I should reach out and see what's going on if I need to make a move. So That's the way I look at it. I mean, I take anytime you see one of these reports, take it with a massive grain of salt that anything actually is going to happen
agents,
about it. But then
teams,
sometimes you get a Zaha. Like, I mean, it just you never know how it's gonna play out. But I appreciate the teams going for it, and then kind of working, like you said, like the other deals in the background when that big high profile one falls through. And there's another deal that's there, and you get someone like a Pep Biel to join. In the last window or I guess a few windows ago when a lot of those bigger signings that we were linked with fell through, and it worked out great for us. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate seeing the team being in the mix, putting their name out there, and I guess in theory making it public that they're interested in some of these players. And if one of them works out, amazing. But I just kind of fully expected not to. But I appreciate the effort that's going into that.
Well, and I think going back to your point is, I mean, while we are a mid-market, we're not the biggest city in the U.S., newer team, quote unquote, I think we also sometimes sell ourselves short because we do have,
Yes.
like you mentioned it, we've got Ashley Westwoods, we got Tim Reams, we've got Dean Smith, we've got Nathan Byrne, we've got players who have played in England and some of these Premier League teams and championship teams and coached in these leagues. Like that does speak volumes that they want to be here. And it's not like these guys have been here just for 6 months and loaned out and sold. Like Nathan Byrne's been here for quite a while. Ashley Westwood's been here for quite a while. Dean's now starting to get here for half of our existence, right? Like it's not like these guys are just turnstile and just getting them in and out. Like they want to be here. So I think you have players like that, they can chirp in other guys' ears a little bit, be like, hey, this is the benefit of being here. It's not just a 1-year rental. It's not like we want to be here. So I think that also helps us sometimes. So, but if some of these things work out, great. If not, the only thing I hope we can figure out is defensive depth and center back, because that's the only thing that's not been leaked. And I'm wondering what's happening behind the scenes to see what that potential future looks like for us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Kind of segue into is before we can move on to anything else is what are you looking for next in this window? And I think the obvious answer what you just said is like that center back position. Milanda's obviously gone. He finally made his debut at Middlesbrough. I think it was over the weekend. I didn't get to watch the match,
fans were like, "Holy shit, this guy's legit!"
Yeah, everything I've seen and read about it, he had an incredible match. I was really sad because I believe if I remember the schedule correctly, because I was obviously follow Stoke. I believe Middlesbrough played Derby the week before, so we could have had Pat versus Milanda in Milanda's first match, and I think it was one match off of that, which is I hate to see that, but I'm glad he's in the lineup and is performing well. But obviously it's a huge loss, and so I think that's where you really need to be looking at what's going to be the answer there. Who are we looking at? And I know they're doing it. I know they're putting the work to find some of those things. But that's what I'm really kind of, as far as when I'm looking for rumors and what I want to kind of be seeing pop up is who are some of the names in that position that we can be pulling in.
And credit to Zoran and the team. Like, no, did anyone have Luca Torre on their map as Charlotte signing him 2-3 weeks ago? Like, no, like that wasn't on anyone's radar at all. So we could be sitting here saying this right now, Corey, and then tomorrow morning someone pops up and signed something.
This is always the thing, and usually we have Matt on here being the one to say it, is like the don't panic at this point. Like it always, these things always come together late. So I don't think either of us are. I think it's just kind of one of those things where we'll wait and see kind of what ends up happening here. But I'm excited to see. Again, that's just the biggest role that I'm excited to see, kind of where we go from there. And then any other surprises that we see pop up on the roster coming up for next year.
You want to pull up Vaughn's comment just so that way
so
it's still fresh.
So we'll pull it up. We'll close it on the Drake calendar thing. It was basically what David had said, which is basically that his performance metrics would get him back up to that 750, and any profit we get would come if he's sold or traded, as we retain a sell-on percentage. So that's kind of what we thought, but I appreciate the confirmation because I do not pretend to know what's happening in MLS as far as the roster and money side of things. So I appreciate that.
I think it also just confirms too that if you ever want Von Stronamis to chime in on anything, just spin around and say his name 3 times in the dark in front of a mirror, and then he'll pop up like
Yeah, you have the
Bloody
right.
Mary
You have the
or,
right. You have the right gam. On like in red on the mirror, and then spin around and say his name. I think is it's the writing on the mirror is the key here.
crazy.
Oh, Will fills in the gap here. Is that they Milan was supposed to play against Derby, but the USSF didn't transfer his international clearance to the English FA in time. Gotta love bureaucracy holding things up like that.
Crazy.
So anyway, happy to see him playing. It's really fun. Again, I follow, as people who've listened to this for a while know, I follow Stoke, and it's been really fun watching some of the former Charlotte FC players in the championship playing there. I've put alerts on my phone for a lot of them, so I know when their matches are starting, and they're starting. I also did one for I just forgot the name of the team, but where Fuchs is coaching. Is it Newport County? I think is where he is.
I don't know. I forgot the team name.
Yeah, I put an alert
Division
just
4.
just so I get like a final score notification just to see how he's doing.
Corey starts scrolling like Facebook streams, trying to find the game to watch it. Yeah, some real sicko behavior.
He's got a project on his hands, but yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Anyway, so any other thing from a transfer standpoint, and I think we wanted to talk about one player who may or may not be on the way out. But anything else about anybody coming in or thoughts you have on this window?
No, because the next person we're going to talk about, I think, could also be a domino effect of some other stuff. So we can talk about the elephant.
It'd be really fun if we're not talking about the same person. Yeah.
I know, right? Who are you talking about? I'm talking about Kalina. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, so we're talking about Abada. So some things came out recently. If you've been following it, a couple pieces of it. I believe he did an interview. And David, you can I'll let you fill in the gaps. I think you followed this a little closely.
Yeah. So some of it, and I know Top Ben shared it, and there's been some reporting on it too. But I guess he did an interview on some, I think, Israeli talk show or something like that, just about his experience here and playing, etc. And I guess it came up that during this past transfer window, so during season, so I think summer window or around that time, there was a loan opportunity for Abada to teams like Swansea and other championship level teams. And some of the quotes and things, and I might butcher these per se, or, there's also Google translation, some of these. So some of it may come off or not the right way, but there was a few things like one, like he wants to play and he wasn't getting minutes and playing or starting. And so that was part of the player want, is that he wanted to go somewhere where he could play. But the team actually denied some of the loan opportunities or the transfer opportunities potentially because they didn't have a plan to backfill him, or they didn't have the depth to backfill him at the time. Right. And then they kind of talked through it. He was I don't want to say told, but he was kind of expecting to get more minutes after that conversation, and then didn't really get them. So I think to me, I'm reading between the lines that there might be some player frustration a little bit, but he also kind of said like, hey, it is what it is. It's part of the business. And all I can do is look forward to this next season and just put my best foot forward and continue to do the best that I can and earn the minutes when I can. Right. So I think it's no secret this, like us on this show, fans online have been a little disappointed this past season on Abada. I mean, great that Vargas stepped up and took that starting spot, but you have one of our most expensive, I guess, contract salary players right now, and also on the higher end of our transfer history, come in and lose a spot. And like there's times last year, especially after that summer window, Corey, and I think we even talked about it, like he's getting subbed on with like 3 minutes left of games. And it's like what's even the point at that point? So I don't know. I think it's kind of a tale of what's to come. I think it's the inevitable, but it just depends on is it the right situation for the player like Abada? Is it the right situation for the team? And do they have a plan to backfill him from a depth and from a player and a personnel perspective too? So what's your thoughts on just hearing that, Corey? And I guess we can kind of kick it off from there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few thoughts on it. I do think that if there were loan opportunities for him and we weren't going to play him, I kind of hate that we didn't loan him out somewhere. I guess personally, or I think for Abada's standpoint, like he's not getting playing time here. It's clearly not He's not part of what we're trying to do last season. He's getting garbage minutes. Like, you know, loan him out a little bit and let him go somewhere else. And maybe that turns into a deal later on the road that, we recoup some of the money we spent on him and great. That's one part of it. I do still think that I think it's time to move on from Abada. I think we all kind of have felt that way at this point. There were several. He's had his chances. Like, I mean, he's a DP. Like his first season, he was seen at like, this is your chance. Like this is your position. Go for it. It was his position to lose, and he ultimately did lose it to Vargas. And when you look at the salary difference between those two, it's like if we can get just, not just as much production, but like also we talked about how much better Vargas was getting back defensively. Like it's just he's a better fit for what we need in that position. And the cost difference is insane. So, and what I was going to say is there were several games last season where we felt like, okay, this is Abada's chance to like prove,
like the playoffs.
Yeah, like there were a couple of matches where he was gonna start because we knew because of the red card or other things, like we knew that Abada was going to start, and just didn't show much of anything in those matches. So I think it's time to move on. There are reports that some championship clubs have interest. Great, I mean, I want him to do well. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he's what, like in early 20s, I think
23, 22, something like that, like something crazy.
He's young. He's got a long career ahead of him, and so I wish him the best and hope we can get him a spot, and again hope for Charlotte's sake that we can get some little bit of recoup some of the money for it. But
he's 24. I looked it up.
He's 24, but I think it's time to move on. I think we got to find the right fit for him. I think it'll be interesting if we go into this season and we still haven't moved him. Because then what do? Do you keep having that DP riding the bench? Do you find different ways to incorporate him into the team? Like, I don't really know at that point. But I was really hoping at this point that they would move on from him in this window so that we kind of start with a fresh start in this new season.
So I agree with you, but I think the only reason why I think not only do they not have a piece to backfill him, but the loan stipulation. I think the team also didn't want to get into a Karol Swiderski situation where a player is on loan. They then free up the quote unquote DP tag. But then what happens if
bounces back
because he doesn't get minutes there or shits the bed and doesn't do well, then you can't, you can go get another DP, but then you're going to have to figure out what to do when you have him come back. So then teams know you have to offload somebody. Then you're, from a negotiation perspective, it gets messy. So I get the business side of it. Like, sure, on paper would have been nice to do that, but like it gets really tricky. So Nate says we better not have a DP playing for Crown. So that is very, very, very true, sir. So we should not.
And he also made the point that I think this is valid. There's an argument made here too, is like Dean's subbing style. Nate makes the point that like when you get subbed on, like because the Dean subs come so late, like you get like maybe 5 or 10 minutes sometimes of playing time. So there's a lot to that. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I would really like to be able to move on and kind of free up that spot, free up that salary to use in some other kind of way. I mean, but if he's still with the team come the start of the season, if we can find some way to unlock something in him, I'd love to see it. I feel like I'm not confident in that because he was my player at the beginning of last season that I was like, this is the year. This is the year Abada unlocks it and becomes like our star player. And he just absolutely did not. So
I just don't think his playing style translates well to what Dean wants to do or what the league does.
Yeah.
He's quick, quote unquote, but like not long-term speed, but like he's quick, like agile, but then he just gets muscled off the ball and just is small. And it's just, I don't know. In this league, I just don't think it's translating well. And also for what Dean wants to do, it just, I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully if, he's happy and gets sold and gets minutes, and we get what we want out of it and get a player to backfill into a new DP. Great.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
but that was the big thing. But I think what's also interesting, when I add on to that, because there was the rumor towards the back end of the season too that Vargas was also getting calls potentially about going elsewhere too, and the team was like, no, we're not doing that yet. So I get there's this. We got two players that play the same position that, like, one we want to kind of offload, one that we probably will eventually offload. Little fast man. I guess that's an inside joke here. Yeah.
I'll pull it up just because you mentioned it. This is what I don't remember what match it was. I just yelled, "Go little fast man" at Abada, and that became what we called him going forward.
There you go. I will call him that from now on. Thank you.
Go
Corey.
little fast man.
Go little fast man. But I think you got an interesting offseason, or an interesting year, because if Vargas does continue to play really well, continue to develop, teams are going to call and ask, and we're probably going to eventually sell him. It is part of the business. And you've also got a player that we obviously want to offload or hope that they turn out, because in theory it should be Bada playing and being sold and then Vargas stepping up, but it's the other way around. So I don't know.
Right.
That's going to be that domino effect, I think, at that wing position. That's going to be interesting to watch over the next 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else from a off-season roster transfer perspective? Otherwise, you just have the word hot dog with a question mark in our run of show. And so I guess we could transition to that if we need to before we get into listener questions. But anything else on the team? I know we'll go through that in listener questions. So let's get into whatever a hot dog is.
Yeah, man. So it was also posted on our Discord, but I figured, it's January 6th. Everyone obviously wants to talk about, Stranger Things, wants to talk about transfer windows. The most important thing, well, to me, the most important news that got posted earlier today. I got to find the Twitter account because I'm not on Twitter anymore. So I got to find this screenshot that I sent you guys. But there was news. Here it is from @Valer Shabila. I probably butcher that. Apologies. Breaking. Every Nashville SC Wednesday regular season home match will be "quote unquote" dollar dog night with dollar hot dogs available at select concession stands. And he says probably the biggest news that he's ever reported. So one, I just want to make sure my platform here puts pressure on Tepper Sports and Entertainment to give me dollar dog night, because, man, let me tell you, everyone knows whenever they've seen me inside that stadium, I usually get 1 or 2 hot dogs before kickoff, and that's my go-to. I will pay you so much money in dollar dog nights, Tepper. So it was, I don't know, Corey. I really wanted to make sure that news happened.
No, this is important. How many dollar hot dogs?
So that was,
that was 2 different ways. Yeah. How many would you put down, and then how many could you, if we incentivized you? Like, what's your max?
Maybe. So what you're
Joey
saying
Chestnut level is hot dog consumption?
I'll say this: if Tepper can somehow make this happen, we will make this into show content somehow. So I will. If you're asking me, am I going to wear like stretchy sweatpants that are comfortable inside the stadium and go down on some hot dogs? Then I could probably. I don't know, dude. Like, I think after like 5 or 6, I'd feel really gross about myself. So I could probably do 5 or 6 hot dogs if I really wanted to. I think anything past that, I could probably do more, but I would feel really ashamed about myself if I did more than that. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think 4 or 5 would be. If you think about it, 2.5. It's not bad, but
have you seen the?
I feel like I'd be guilty to buy more though, because it's $1. Just do it. Just do more. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I take that back. I went to a New York Mets game about 2 years ago, and it was dollar hot dog night. And I got the Tops Now card from it too, where they broke the record with the most hot dogs sold in a sporting event ever. And I think I'm ashamed to say, because I was there for all 9 innings. I think I got 7 or 8 hot dogs. I think I got
That's
hot
impressive.
dog an inning, basically. I wasn't the only one in my group that did that, but I didn't eat anything all day until that point. So I was starving. So I didn't feel good afterwards.
Oh, sure. I bet you didn't. Isn't there some kind of social media trend where it's like you do like a hot dog and a beer like all 9 innings, like
I
and then
think
see if you
so.
see how far you can make it? That's what that feels
God.
like. I don't know what the soccer
Yeah.
version of that is, but we should figure
We got to figure out something.
4.5 hot dogs per half. So 45, 4.5
Oh
hot
my
dogs.
God. Oh,
Still end up with
that would
9.
be,
If it
sounds
goes the
awful.
extra time, you have to
Because
eat
the
another one.
baseball game one at least goes like 3 hours. You're doing 9 hot dogs in an hour and a half. Like, no. God.
Look,
I don't
Joey
know. Just
Chestnut
make it
can do it.
happen. Tag the team, put it out there. We need our dollar dog night. That's all I'm saying. Nate says the,
The Glizzy Gusler.
the glizzy gusler, the glizzy guzzler. So that's what, hey, if a dollar hot dog night happens, I will change my show handle to the glizzy guzzler. So there we go. That's my fun. That's all I wanted to talk about.
I love it.
That's really why I wanted to do the show tonight, Corey, was just because of the hot dog conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's
not
the
because
main,
of the news.
Up until about 2 hours ago, the only thing that had been sitting in the group chat about what we wanted to talk about tonight was that screenshot of the tweet. So that's where we're at.
Great.
All right, I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't pull questions ahead of time, so I'm gonna be sliding through the Discord and just pulling stuff out as I see it. So I apologize to anybody if I missed anything. So let me just bounce around here. I'll throw some questions at you. Matt asked some good questions about things we already talked about: Griezmann, Alaba, and chances with those. And then Abada having to go, but what's the plan? We got into that a little bit.
Yep.
Let's talk about this from Matt because we didn't really we touched on this, but we can talk about it a little bit more. How do we feel about the Bronico versus Luca de la Torre battle? Is Bronico finally going to sit on the bench? So we hinted at this, but like, what does your gut say? Like, does Bronico finally have someone that we bring in a transfer window that actually takes the starting spot, or does he still become the unbeatable midfielder?
I think Dean rates Bronico as more of a cam, to be honest with you. If you look at where he started the past year and a half, it's been in that Pep role, or like if we need someone to press and move up the field more. It's not been the 6 or the 8 really that often. So I think it's more, man, I don't know.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that's happened more when we haven't had Pep. Like when Pep's out.
That's true.
Yeah, they will throw him up in that more attacking role to put pressure on and press and do all that stuff. I feel like when we're fully healthy, he falls back into more of that, that 8 kind of role. Again, I want Bronico to keep playing as much as he possibly can. I think Bronico is amazing. I do think and feel like this might be where we start seeing him come off the bench or start more in rotation.
Sure.
Than he has, or if we want to play a slightly different style with somebody in the midfield, things like that. I see him kind of coming in more as that piece than being that everyday starter that he's been recently.
I think this move speaks to more about Jabril Gianni and what we wanted to have in that position more so than Brandt. But I mean, I think it's also a domino effect if you bring in, a player like him, and then that forces Brandt back onto the bench or downward if that's the position that we view him as. Then that just pushes Gianni even further down, right? So to me, I think it's a win-win either way, because I think it also gives you flexibility of what you want to do. Like you could then move Pep out to a wing at certain times and move Bronico up to that cam, and then you have Torre there as an 8 and Westwood as a 6, and I don't know, what I mean? I just it's interesting. Now the thing that also made me just kind of question, like especially when we talked about potential moves, right, was if we would have a player like Harvey come in, and you also have Torre, and you have Brandt, and you have Pep, like that midfield gets super crowded. So then like who goes where and when, if you would have a move like that happen. But that move still obviously is just rumored, and I think quote unquote he's come out and said he's not interested in moving right now anyways. But like
yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, I feel like if that were to happen, which again I feel like is a long shot at this point, like I feel like he's played out in the wing some, like that might be where you see him again, it kind of answers the second question there with, the Abada Vargas, depth situation over there. You could fill a gap there temporarily too. So, I mean, I think you find a way to move people in the right position with those. But yeah, I mean, I think, again, if nothing else, this gives us some options in the midfield about how we want to line things up. And I do feel like it's an upgrade to that midfield unit.
Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. God forbid you have flexibility. And if you have different opponents or different things, like you have the ability to do that versus starting Jabril Gianni because that's the only 8 you have out there. And you just freeze up when you have any attack because that's the only option you have there. You know what I mean? So it just gives you more flexibility. And again, players can't play 40 plus games with Leagues Cup and Open Cup 90 minutes every single week. So you're going to have players get subbed. You're going to have injuries. It just increases that depth and that those backups. If they were starters previously, just means your roster continues to elevate in talent.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Let's see. We'll go to Matt Nolan. He threw a few in here. I'll pick a couple of them. I'll start with this one. How much worse is our back line without Malanda?
That's a loaded question. I mean, I think
I have a one-word answer, which is much.
Much. I mean, you obviously sold a player for a lot of money because he was really good. So, I mean, you're naturally going to see a decline or a natural step back, I think, from performance. Now, you still have Ream, you still have Harry, you still have Nathan Byrne. 3 out of those 4 players were starting last year on our defense. So in theory, does Privet step up? Do you get another center back that you can bring into this space?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it shouldn't be a huge leap to at least get close to what we were at, but I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a step back, unfortunately, until we sign somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Malanda was an incredible player, and I feel like you saw the difference when he wasn't in matches. It just made a huge difference. And when you're looking at who are the center backs currently on the roster, you're basically looking at Privet and Ream.
That's it. Yeah,
like there's just
and
not.
You had, I think Neely and a few other
yeah. I mean, there's some depth there, but I mean, yeah, we need something, and it needs to be a quality, starting level player.
I got a hypothetical for you, just to piggyback off Nolan's question there. How would you feel about reuniting the man buns and getting Walker Zimmerman?
I would love that. Now, I think I don't know if this came up on an episode or when we were just talking separately at some point. I was like, yeah, let's bring in the Top Knot boys and let's put them together. Let's go for it.
I think of the Mighty Ducks, the Bash Brothers, that's what I want to see is Ream and Zimmerman grow the hair back out.
Yeah.
Flock the ponytails.
Yeah, he has to grow the hair back out. That needs to be part of his contract situation. Is that the hair needs to come back because I don't like seeing him with short hair. But if he can grow the hair out, yeah, absolutely want to see him as part of that. So.
So honestly, I wasn't a super big fan of that idea during the season or early in, but now that Malanda's gone and it's well, who do you bring in? I mean, you could find the next Malanda, but you also want someone that's a proven performer. Don't put him as a DP like Nashville did, but if he can come in as a good quality player, why not? So
yeah, absolutely. All right. Another question. I'll do 2 more questions from Matt. Breakout player of 2026, and he takes Archie off the board. He says we cannot say Archie.
I think it's early to say that because we don't know who else we have that we can bring in, right? I don't know.
That's
I mean,
fair.
If I had to go off, the roster,
we can
right
frame it. Yeah, and I would even take De La Torre off the roster or off the consideration here. Who from last year's roster, for whatever reason, do you expect to be a breakout player in this upcoming team, knowing that we don't know what the full roster is going to look like on day one?
Is it fair to say Toklamati? Did he already break out? I don't know. I think.
Yeah, he was one I thought about. Yeah.
I mean, I would say him or Vargas. I think those are the 2 that could really step up and become MLS known players across the league. You know what I mean? People know Zaha, people know Ashley Westwood, Pep Biel. I mean, I guess you could say Pep Biel continue on his form last year. I mean, he was leading in assists for the longest time until he got hurt. So, Pep Biel could be that next player. So I think between those two or three, it'd be my choice between them on the roster current state.
Yeah, the only other person that I was going to throw out there was
little unknown guy named Wilfred Zaha. Was that what you're?
Yeah, Zaha. Really, I think it's finally his time.
Right.
Once he can kind of get a cooler
just
head
put
on
it all
him,
together.
and yeah, no, what I was gonna throw out there was Tofolo, which just to throw a defender out there, but I just feel like we didn't get to see as much of him last season, and I like him, and I like the way he pairs up with Zaha in front of him. Zaha is who was playing in front of him. But I think there's something that we haven't seen with him yet that could be really fun to watch him develop this year. In addition to the guy, I mean, the other ones I was thinking were Vargas. I mean, I've seen Vargas more so than Tokomati. I feel like Tokomati did break out. Like
That's
last
true.
year coming off the bench after we moved on from Pat. He just exploded. Like Vargas definitely was on the right direction and played really well in some matches down the stretch. But I felt like he could be one that really breaks out this year too. Last one. So a couple questions. So Matt asks, with Calendar leaving, implying that does Calendar leaving imply that Kalina is the man, or is the Crown Legacy pipeline going to push through? And then Matt Jones followed it up, saying, on the Drake Calendar exit and Bingham cut, what is the backup goalie position? So kind of where do we look at kind of that depth chart of the goalkeeper position in your eyes?
I think current state, you do have just Legacy in your backups right now, right? But I think also like goalkeepers are, I don't want to say this proven commodity because they're not, but like you can get a really good depth piece in MLS or USL that comes in and could be a really good solid backup for you while some of these younger guys continue to develop. You can get these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids out there and hope and pray that if they have to come in and fill in for a game, they do well. But like usually keepers go in their prime later in their 20s and 30s, right? So like, I don't know. I just hope we don't have to worry about that problem. And Kalina just is very solid the rest of the year. But, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just me. I'm just speculating here. I wouldn't be surprised if we do bring in somebody on some vet minimum deal or some experience there to back up Kalina, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. I think to answer the question, I think Kalina is the guy. Like he's coming in as the day one starter. But yeah, I think they will, or I hope they will bring in someone that's a little more experienced than the two other guys that are currently on the roster. Not to knock them at all, but yeah, it's still, I think we still want someone with a little more experience, like a Bingham that we had previously, or like a Calendar. But that could come in and be that solid rock on the goalkeeper side if Clean is out or has to be out for something like that. So
agreed.
Let's see. Oh, this makes me nervous. I haven't read this whole question yet. Paul asks, I went back and listened to a few old episodes. Paul, God bless you. Like, I don't know.
I know, dude. I'm so sorry
what you experienced. Yeah. Like the very first one, no idea what happened on that one. And some that were notable, some early ones with players, front office guests, inaugural match, big signings, etc. Since you have a little time, I'd love to know what you thought about those early episodes. Were the thoughts and expectations you had then realistic at the time? Does the excitement measure up to the reality we've had? What's changed the most in your pods and our expectations now that we've had a few years under your and our belts? I can jump into this a little bit, and I'd love to hear your perspective too, because you started as a listener, until Johnny forced the show upon you and Matt.
Until Johnny recorded in his backyard and said, "I've had enough. I'm done."
It's my backyard. We recorded, yeah. So I was on those early episodes. First of all, I have no idea what the first episode was about. I have not gone back to look at that one. I've looked back at some old episodes. I know some of the things we did. We definitely started before there was actually a team. We were pretty sure we were going to have a team. but we didn't know for sure. And so we started this podcast hoping that something like this would come along the same time that the Min City Collective was starting up as well too. So yeah, I feel like, and it was also like we started it, a little before COVID. There's a lot. Those early episodes are very interesting. There's a whole roller coaster of emotions and a lot of time to fill before we actually had real soccer to talk about. But there's some really fun ones. I do recommend people go back and find certain ones to listen to. I always think about Tommy the Townie and Gary the Glider being one special one, but also yeah, when we talked to the front office people early on and got their perspective on things, it was really fun. The backyard episode is a classic. So there's a lot of interesting things to dig into.
I'm looking back at
From
some of these titles and I'm just like, oh, I do
read
remember
read off
this
some
one now.
titles for me, so to like jog my memory of like what the hell we
So the
talked
first
about.
one is literally called The First One.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And it's about a little bit of news about it's quote unquote Charlotte MLS.
Charlotte. I mean, we didn't have.
Yeah.
When did that come out? What was the date of that episode?
February 2nd, 2020.
There you go.
So
Oh man, the before times. Like
I know,
right?
there's
I thought we
episode
recorded.
about-
I honestly
go
thought we
ahead.
recorded more episodes before that world shut down. So that's fascinating.
You recorded like 2 before the
Okay.
world shut down.
Okay, good,
So,
great. That's fun.
MLS preview, History Mint City. This one I chuckle. Conjecture is a verb. That's the title.
Mm,
Between Two Pixels with Ryan Bailey. So obviously
yep.
during COVID times. PSL brandings, great value. The League Awakens, so Star Wars hype a little bit, right? Of gliders and townies, that's the one that you were just mentioning
Yep.
there. Then obviously the Charlotte FC episode where they release and the branding of the
Yep.
team, and then it goes into we're back, and then it takes a 2-month pause.
See, let's just point out that the 2-month pause is very on brand for this episode, for this show. So us not doing a show for a while here, no one should be surprised by that.
I
'cause
just love too though that we went from so 2-month pause, then it went to Johnny and Corey are back with me and Matt Swift, and then the next episode where me and Matt Swift are by ourselves with Corey Inscoe. We've never done
Yeah.
a podcast before. Is Nick
Yeah.
Kelly and the chief fan officer, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and we're in Salute with Magic the Gathering
Yeah.
going on and crazy stuff.
super loud. I love it. So
So
does
small
that mean-
story. So just
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to reminisce. I know we're going down a rabbit hole. Laura, like Facebook memories pop up, and she shared one of our very first episodes with Thomas Schalling, I think, there in Salute. And we were recording this, and I think we recorded the video, and we didn't know what we're doing. So I record like an hour and a half long video on my iPhone. It takes up the entire storage of my phone. And I posted it, and she's looking at it, and the first question she goes is, why is the camera behind you and you're back facing the camera? And I'm like, I don't know. Like that's what we didn't know what we were doing. So it just
we did not
there's-
we did not know what you're doing. So does that
Go
mean
back
I'm
and
wrong
if you
in
wanna-
saying that we
yeah.
started before the team was a thing? So we started after the team was a thing then, if that's right, wasn't it? don't
your
know.
first episode, you had
Was
a
it-
teaser, and then I think the team was announced after that.
And then we did.
So,
All right. So somewhere around, I mean, we were there from the beginning.
You were right there. Yeah.
I do think what was fun about it, and the question that Paul asked, not to be too navel gazing in this, but does the excitement measure up to the reality we've had? Yes, in my mind. Like what was so fun about those early episodes, we didn't have soccer to talk about, but everyone was so excited about the possibility of this team, even when the team was delayed a year from starting. We were still all so excited about what was coming, and every kind of new little bit of news we could get, we were jumping all over it. And just I remember just always thinking about how fun it was going to be to actually have a team to cheer for and talk about, and actually have soccer on the field to discuss. And so yeah, I think it did live up to the hype. I mean, I think this team has been an absolute blast to follow for 4 years now, and I think it will continue to be. So the excitement definitely measures up to the reality. And some of those early episodes, you can just hear kind of our excitement about it. Yeah.
I was just gonna say to your point on that, like, yeah, I think the excitement lives up to it because yeah, this we've only had 4 seasons. I was looking at the dates of those, Corey. You've been doing this for 6 years and 2 weeks. So obviously we're doing something right if you're doing this for 6 years. I mean, maybe we're holding you hostage here, but I don't know.
We did. So yeah. So the side story that I know we've talked about in this podcast before, but the plan at one point was that we were going to hand the show over to Johnny was definitely going to hand a show over to David and Matt. Like he was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to hand this over to somebody.
He's
else.
Also doing like bigger things too, and had
he's doing great. Johnny's great. But then it came, you know, I said I would stay on and help produce and things like that, but we didn't really warn David and Matt about this. It was just kind of like
not at all.
We just kind of like invited him to an episode, and then we finished the episode. And we're like, by the way, do you guys want to host this? Because we're not gonna do that anymore. And y'all did, which is great. We didn't give you a whole lot of options, but you did.
You got us you got us through like the highs of, wow, this is a podcast, first one ever doing this. I've never done this before. This is fun. It's like, hey, you can do this for the next 6 years, and it's
you could do this forever. And so I was like, I'll handle the technical things. Like, don't worry about the technical side. I'll do the production and editing side of it. But y'all if y'all can host it and lead it, and then you took it from there. And that was very early in the history of the podcast. So y'all have been a part of it from very early on. The last thing I'll say, as far as the excitement of it, like there's some really cool experiences we had.
Absolutely.
Like you talking about some of the live streams, but like I still think doing the inaugural super draft episode from cool. Like the field side suites, and we had a lot of the front office people come in and do interviews afterward, and we had to your point, we had no idea what we were doing from a filming standpoint half the time, but we made it work, and just had some really cool experiences being there as the team was launching. And so I think that's what the fun part about a lot of those episodes. If you really want to have a laugh, though, go back and listen to like our season preview episode from before the first season and how excited we were about some of those players. It's
Mackenzie Gaines.
We were so positive about some players that is laughable now. We were trying to be glass half full. It was particularly one to listen to. It was like after or like right in the middle of the Charleston tournament. So we had seen the team play. Yeah. And then we're like leading into the season, and we were trying real hard to be positive about what was coming.
We were like, we didn't score a goal the entire tournament and got beat by the Charleston Battery. What are we going to do? Yeah. We're going to host an MLS Cup playoff game first season.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, for all its ups and downs, the team has been solid for its first 4 years. So I can't complain about the trajectory the team has taken.
Well, we might be able to, now that, you know, and I know, thanks for the listeners for even supporting us during this entire nonsense of 6 years. But now that I'm local, we can hopefully do some more fun things like that again. So it'll be a little bit easier. Maybe we'll try some things this year. So it'll be good. I know we did a really cool kickoff show last year. I like doing that. That was fun. Yeah.
No, I love that too. That's one thing we've definitely been talking about. I tried to get David to move into a house down the street from me that had like a shed in the back that had been used previously for band practices. And I was like, David, podcast studio. Hey, and then I just walk down the street and we podcast, and we make Matt drive 45 minutes across town to come join us.
We can still do that if you want.
We can. It's still, I think the house is still in the market. You probably don't want to buy a house now because you've already bought one. But if you want to come this way, it's an option. But yeah, we're hoping to do some more in-person, some more events type things in the new season. We enjoy doing that, and just because of logistics and other things last year, we weren't able to do it as much other than that first opening match. So we'll see. Let me jump around here because I was hoping to keep this one to an hour, and as we tend to do, we are already over an hour. I'm going to jump to a couple of fun questions.
Okay.
All right. From Eric Hill. As we just finished the Christmas holiday, what is one gift you received as a kid? He says pre-high school years, if you want to qualify it, that you were so excited you couldn't believe you got it. And one gift that to this day you feel disappointment on behalf of younger you that you didn't get it.
Oh, God.
I know. Do you need me to answer at least one of these first? Let you think.
Go ahead.
Or do you have something?
Yeah,
all right. The gift I received as a kid, there's two that come to mind. I'll pick one, and because it's seared in my memory because my parents did like the classic trick me, situation. So I really wanted, I believe it was the electric guitar. So I got a guitar when I was in middle school, and I really wanted an electric guitar. And like, I think that's all I asked for. And I came down, and like for us, Santa didn't wrap presents. It was just all laid out there. And so it was immediately noticeable that the guitar was not part of that. So I'm trying to like play it off and be like excited about the things I did get and, all that stuff. But like, I'm probably not doing a good job of selling it that I'm okay. And then like my mom does the classic, like, hey, why don't you get some out of the laundry room? And sure enough, I walk in there, and then like on top of the like dryer is like the guitar and amp. And I was so excited. So that's one I think about as far as being the one I was very excited about as a young kid. I don't know if there's ever anything that I was like devastated I didn't get.
Yeah.
That I actually realistically asked for. I will say the one thing that as a kid I always wanted that just wasn't a thing that existed at the time, but now does, and it takes every fiber of my being not to spend my money to buy this now, is like a full-on driving simulator. Like I was obsessed with NASCAR growing up. And so I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if you could just have like a car in your living room that has screens all around it, and you just could like do racing things. And I was like, well, that's not a thing you can buy for your home, but now it is. Like I could buy that now.
So what
and
you're
I
saying
say this to my wife,
year
and
for
she goes,
Christmas,
I will
Corey.
leave
Yeah.
you. Like
Corey's gonna
there's so many days where I like look at like Micro Center or something like that, and I'm like, I see the simulators, like that could live in my office. And
Corey, I need you
would
to
never
get
leave
that,
it.
but then make the chair the little red Corvette twin size bed that is like the race car bed, and have that in the center of it, and you do the simulator in that. That's amazing.
Love it.
Please do it.
One day.
Man.
One day.
I will say, like, I remember one that just sticks out, like the year I got a Nintendo 64. I was like that kid that screamed Nintendo 64, like that whole meme. That was kind of me for that.
Mm-hmm.
That one was awesome. I do remember that. I don't know if there's ever one that was like disappointing or anything like that, or I disappointed I never got. I mean, maybe it's just because we're getting old, Corey, and we can't remember that far back anymore. But
probably,
I'm just, I don't know. My parents were great, so I don't, there's nothing really I couldn't. I mean, I do remember like one time, I think it was a commercial, but it wasn't something I was like devastated and get. We were like laser tag, and there was like this really crappy version of it. It was like plastic guns, and you had to wear the vest. But if it was any sunlight outside, it would just not work. So I remember I was like, I really wanted that, but then my neighbor had it and we tried it. It would never work. And I was like, all right, whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. But
I saw an ad for one of those recently, like one of the newer versions of it that I'm sure worked better. And I was like, I still kind of want it.
Dude, I love laser quest. We got to do a podcast episode with that, dude. What's laser tag? Mid City Soccer show. Have Swift recorded while he's running around shooting the gun, going pew, pew, pew. It's good.
This is an aside, but I went to when my oldest was, I don't know, maybe 6. It was a couple years ago. There was some birthday party they did at one of those, like, there's several of these now. I think there's one down in Pineville where it's like there's a bowling alley, there's laser tag, and there's like other things, happening all in there, and arcade and all that stuff. And so they went to do laser tag, and like my 6-year-old just like not her, that's not her jam. Like she's just like very thoughtful and like cautious, and all, so she's not like running around firing off
she's
like
not Rambo going in there. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was like but she was also a little scared, so I went there with her because they needed an extra person. So I was like, sure, I'll go in there so I can hang out with her and do it. I had such a blast picking off all these little kids, and that laser tag was so much fun. I just kind of had her in front of me as like a not exactly like a human shield, but I was kind of like hanging out with her. And then I was just like crouched down to like make sure she was okay. And the same kid would come around the corner like, bam, got him. It was so much fun. Had a great time.
Gotcha. It's amazing. Oh, that's great.
All right. From Philip. He says a good off-season question that should be addressed each year. What are some changes within reason you'd make to improve the match day experience within the stadium? No more wave. I'm just kidding. I'm not going there. I'm just totally kidding.
It's a very loaded question. I would say, if there's a way to get more night games and actually be night, I think that's just fun to do.
Totally.
I know that's really hard to do during summertime and just the way that the schedule's made, because it's bright outside until like 8:30 in July.
Yeah.
So there's only so much you can do in that. But if there's a way to get more night games, I think that would be awesome. It's just me being a pipe dream here. If there's a way to get the acoustics just better in there, just because I don't know, but that's just a football stadium built that way. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, give me dollar hot dogs. There you go. That's my game day experience.
You already answered the question.
I already answered that one. Give me my dollar hot dogs. That'll make my game day experience great.
Yeah. No, the only thing I was going to say, and we've talked about this a little bit, I think we got better at it this year. I would still love to pick one song or chant that we like really bang over the head of the entire crowd. So we have like one thing that we all sing or chant in unison, whether it be at the beginning of the match, like kind of like the posing. Like I think that's been something that caught on so well because people kind of like figured out what's going on. Like, oh, I can do that, and like it's become a thing that happens in the whole stadium. Like I want, whether it's beginning of the second half or at some point in the first, whatever it is. Like, and it's probably something that already exists. We don't need to make up a new song or chant for this, but like one that the team really goes over the top and like teaching non-supporters group people what the words are and how to do it. And like just have one moment in the match or pre-match or as part of the lead up or whatever, where like the whole stadium is singing and chanting the same thing. I think again, pregame, I think we're pretty good with posing and all that, but with Peppers, but like
I agree with that.
I do think there's like one other, because like they've done a better job of putting it up on the video board, and I feel like I do notice a difference in my area. Like you'll occasionally hear people singing along to it, or at least knowing what the supporters group is singing. But I think if we could really just pick one and drill into it and see if we can get that to be something that the whole stadium can get into, it would be a lot of fun.
I think they need to make one for a little fast man for you. It'd be really good.
Little fast man. That makes me laugh. I'm going to look through real quick because we are over. Oh, Russell asked the same question I asked you about the dollar hot dog night, how many you could eat. Me and Russell are same wavelength. I love it.
Yep.
And even put the qualifier of assume the hot dogs are normal size and have as many or as few toppings as you like.
See, if I'm doing dollar hot dog night, I'm keeping it real simple, man. I'm doing like ketchup and mustard, if that. You can't. If it's not trying to go all out, like I like some coleslaw, some chili, Carolina style, but like if I'm trying to eat a bunch of them, I'm not doing a bunch of Carolina style. Like, no, absolutely not.
No, just ketchup on the dog. That's all you need. And don't get on me about not putting ketchup on a hot dog. Ketchup is great on a hot dog. You shut your mouth.
I agree with you on that. I don't, a little bit of mustard sometimes.
I don't want the comments.
Get the comments. It's okay.
I know. I mean, yeah, I do love a good Carolina dog. that is my go-to, but not.
Hey, so speaking of which, because I just have to say this and give a quick plug because it's where I live now. Out here in Monroe, there's a place called Patty and the Dogs, and it started as a food truck, but it's a walk-up like restaurant now. And me and Laura tried it for the first time last night. The best hamburger and hot dogs I've had in years. So like really kind of like gourmet hot dogs, but they've got like Carolina style, whatever it is, but they've got the nice buns, smash burgers, things like that. So if you're ever out in Monroe in my neck of the woods, you do live in Mora, so you could come out. Just follow that road.
Yeah, let's be clear. It's Monroe Road. I do not live in Monroe. I live on Monroe Road, which does eventually get to Monroe, but it takes a while. It's like you can follow it all the way.
That while is where
I've done it. This is peak like COVID. I need something to do to get out of my house. We randomly drove around and did realize that if you follow Monroe Road all the way out, it does run into downtown.
Go to Monroe. It's crazy.
Kind of like names like 10
Charlotte
times,
Highway.
But it gets there.
Charlotte. I know.
It gets there eventually. Anyway, no, I think we're good. I know I missed some questions, but we had a lot in here. I appreciate everybody throwing it in there, but I think we covered most of what we were hoping to for this episode. Appreciate everybody sticking with us as we, knock the rust off a little bit, get back into some kind of semi-regular posting and podcasting schedule. I'm not going to promise anything about when the next one will come out, but I am hoping that, now that David is, I was going to say settled. You're not settled. You at least are in the house.
I'll be settled by next week. Be fine.
I mean, I believe you, and I know that I would not be able to be settled that quickly. So amazing.
I mean, we'll definitely do some more episodes coming up here. I mean, like it may not be every single week, but if there's some big news, big transfer news, something like that, we'll obviously put something out. But make sure you get back into our Discord. Make sure you support us on Patreon. We're going to try to do some more fun things this year. Might try some new things since, a little bit more localized now too. With Discord starting to drum back up now with like transfer rumors and, conversations. You got a kit release sometime soonish, next month or two potentially.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to be hopping. I'm sure Matt Swift's going to be on here episode 1 with that, wearing it, rocking it. Probably already has it, probably sleeping with it right now. It's fine. So, but yeah, just appreciate everyone's supporting the show and continue to support us too. So
yeah, absolutely. We've already been brainstorming some ideas for this coming season in the group chat. So, and anybody who has ideas about things you'd like to see, hear, have us do, throw them at us in whatever social media or Discord or whatever way you can find to get in touch with us. Let us know what you're thinking, and what we can be doing, because we'd love to do that. But otherwise, I think that's it. David, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, man.
Good luck on the unpacking. I'm glad your internet held out. Apparently my internet was actually the problem. I realize now why I was being told I look like a Nokia Vine reel or something like that.
Got it.
I pulled up the YouTube feed, and apparently my internet is not doing great. So I apologize for any issues that caused in the live stream. We're excited to be back. We'll be back soon. Again, let us know what you think and anything that we can be doing differently coming into the upcoming season. And we're excited for a season that we're starting in not too long here. So
crazy.
Let's get pumped.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.